We just have this habit of recording the sessions for future reference.
Okay. Okay, I'm recorded. I have to know that.
Okay. Just for internal purpose, Machi.
Okay. Because recording people is very, very, let's say, sensitive. At least I don't know how about you, but in Europe it's very sensitive.
Okay. Okay, so shall we go over the plans that was done by Sujit?
So maybe let's get to the plan, but I would suggest let's maybe a bit drawing some context. So can we start? We have everyone who's interested. Are we waiting for someone, Kalpana?
No, we have the team here. We have Pradeep and Sujit from DevOps side, and we have the developers as well, Balaji and Sriniti. And we have Raja as well here. So we have everyone. So over to.
Okay. So where to start? Okay. So this migration task came as a agreement between two parties on a very, very high level. And it wasn't first it wasn't consulted with me, as you know. So I didn't have the opportunity to put in all the rules and regulations and the standards that I usually do in projects we run, right? So as I saw that when you progressed, you've made it the simplest possible way to migrate, right? Making copies and so on and so on. But I don't think that's going to work in a longer run. So that's one thing, right? I had a discussion with Raman and Manik and both of them agreed that we would have to, before this is transferred over to English or to English in schools, this would have to be done in a way that I can agree on and that I can take responsibility. So this is one point we need to discuss, right? One of the key things here is also the account, which has to be separate. And I've started the whole process, but as you know, in Pearson, it takes time. So we're at the very end of the process. We're going through the CISO validation. Once we get through that, we're going to get the account. So we got an approval for the account. We just had to raise a CISO request for all the processes. And that also emphasizes the fact that the AWS account and the way how we will deploy this, sustain, maintain, and then support future development will have to be according to some regulations, right? I don't think the plan you've proposed covers those, right? So we need to have maybe more frequent sessions on where do we want to get to make this migration happen, according to what we need to do, right? Pearson is extremely strict in terms of security, in terms of how things are done right now in the AWS accounts. There were a few incidents which moved Pearson into a very, very strict approach, and we'll have to align to that. So that being said, we need to schedule, or we need to start thinking of where does this fit in. I need to understand what's the plan for these platforms, how they will evolve, who will be developing them, who will be supporting them. But I know that's you guys, but in general, I need to understand what is the support model for this, who should have access, and so on and so on. So there's a list of things we need to agree on before we can say that this is done, right? So the plan is correct, but it's extremely simple, and it's too simple for what we need to do.
Okay.
Am I speaking logically, or do you guys have a lot of questions?
But you are speaking logically. It sounds good. You want some automated system to have the DR everything, right? Those things we can implement after migrating. First, we will migrate the test the lower enrollment into the new account, and we will do all the automation everything, and we can replicate the same to the other enrollments.
No, I know we can put all of them at the end. So my question about DR and other stuff was just basically an example of things that we did not cover, right? It doesn't mean that we're gonna agree today on a DR and it's gonna be okay. It was an example of things that we need in order to be compliant with Pearson standards and with the standards that I'm trying to implement. So we'll have to make a list. We'll have to make a focused meeting on the specific requirements. Apologies, I couldn't do that earlier, or I had very slow response. But for the past week, I've been sick, and actually, I'm still sick at home. So maybe next week we can have a working session, like half an hour every once in a while, to go through the plan and upgrade it. Where do we need it? Then we can decide what has to be done first, what can be done later on. We have to decide if we have the tools, if we have the capabilities to do that, and so on and so on. Is that okay for you?
Okay. Do you have what are the complaints we need to address? If you have the list, I think we can do all the things in the lower enrollment once everything fine, and we can move that. Because if we do all the automation process in the current account, then we have to do the migration for those automation also, right?
Okay, so Raja, there's no point in doing any migration until we don't have the account. So going through the CISO review and setting up some rules around this account. So both rules around budgeting, so we have to have a set budget. Rules about access, who has access, why and where. What can we build, what cannot we build, and what are the rules applied to every bucket, every EC2 instance, every database, every service. Until we don't have that, we cannot even start the migration, right? So this is point one. Get the account and set the rules, right? Once we get the account and set the rules, we can start the migration. So then we will look at how to do the migration. Your plan that you've presented is extremely simple because it assumes basically make a copy, deploy it in the other account, test QA, test production, make it live, right? Of course, DNS switching is here also applied.
No, okay. It's kind of a plan. If you, it's meaning that once you are migrating, taking AMI and deploying to the another account and set upping the all other standards and complaints with that. It's everything included in that one point itself. It's not just copy and migrating stuff.
No, I know that the plan and deeper is a lot more complex. I'm just trying to simplify it here for the sake of this discussion. Okay. But the thing is that if you're saying that we're going to take an IAM image, it by definition means that, for example, this infrastructure is not easy, maybe not scalable, but it's not easy reproducible when it fails, right? So, for example, it's not done by an automated script because you're taking some kind of a copy of something, right? But these are details. We can really focus on the details later on.
Okay.
I'm not saying your plan is wrong, by the way. I'm just saying it's too simple, and it's basically, it doesn't have a lot of the restrictions that we have to apply to make it compliant with the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Pearson is pretty strict with kind of standards, and we have to apply to those standards.
Okay.
Okay. So again, what I would say, I would.
Please go ahead.
My suggestion is that I'll again chase the guys around the CISO review to get this account as soon as possible.
Okay.
We'll then have a meeting and decide who gets access to that account and on what kind of, for what purpose and to what services, right? So we have to set up in this account multi-factor authentication. We have to set up appropriate passwords, policies. We have to set up appropriate groups, rules, and so on. So prepare the account so that it's compliant in the beginning and not not compliant at the beginning, right? We don't want to start very bad with CISO. After we get that, we can, well, in the meantime, we can also focus on the plan. But after we get that, we can start the migration.
Okay.
We might agree that it will be your plan, and then we're going to expand. But then we have to build a roadmap for the expansion to happen, right? We need to have some kind of agreement that will get from place A to place B at a given time.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I understand that you also have very strict deadlines, right? Kalpana, what are the deadlines for this project?
I think it's from September to November.
From September to November. Okay. If we go, guys, with your plan, let's say that today or in Monday, you have a fully accessible AWS account. How long will it take you to execute the whole plan? Sorry?
Just a minute. Team discussing.
Okay.
Hello, Mashay. This is Pradeep.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. So I think it will take 1 month to do all the activities.
Okay. So 1 month with that plan that you proposed, once you have the account.
Yes.
Yeah.
Including testing, including all the DNS changes, basically making prod on a different environment, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Kalpana, tell me, is the November date? Why is it November? Is there a specific action or a specific legal requirement we need to fulfill?
Yes, Machi, sort of. It was actually given by Raman. The timeline was scheduled by Raman.
Yeah, but do you know what was the underlying, let's say, driver for this specific deadline? Was it a legal requirement or any kind of a contract?
Yeah, we actually currently the ELT accounts will be clubbed with the data ecosystem AWS account. So we are going to align with the higher accounts and higher policies. So before that, we have to remove all the schools and ELT related stuffs and make them separate. We are going to have that alignment deadline as a December. So before that, we have to do the migration. After that, we have to clear everything in the current AWS account.
Okay. Okay. So let's agree that this is a drop dead date. So end of November is a drop dead date.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think we'll work through that. And do you know what are the plans? Because you said that this is going to be in development. Do you know what are the plans post November? So basically, what are the development plans? Whether we want to really expand? How often do we want to deploy new code? Who's going to use that?
Yeah, we have the list who going to use that everything, and how often. Probably monthly once or 2 weeks once.
2 weeks once.
Okay, 2 weeks once.
Okay, because the next thing we would need to focus on, or basically in the same time, is capacity management and capacity verification. If what we will migrate, if it's effective enough to support the numbers we're trying to support, right? So
yeah,
some kind of performance.
Yeah, after migrating this account, Sujit will take care of managing those stuffs. Any request came, Sujit will take care of that. Since Sujit is aligned for that project.
Okay. But does it mean that Sujit, will you be running performance tests? Do we have all the NFRs that we know that we'll have to meet? Are we sure that the platform is scalable enough so that we can easily scale, either horizontally or vertically? Do we have what kind of monitoring will we put in place? Because this is going to be a live platform, so we have to have some kind of monitoring.
Yeah.
Now the question will happen whether it's already in OCC or is this not in OCC yet. If it is, then great. We're just gonna basically change the escalation path. But if it's not, we would have to onboard it through OCC. So there are a lot of additional processes that it has to go once it or even before it gets migrated, right?
Yeah.
So can we get all of that information? So kind of what kind of Pearson processes apply to this already?
Okay, currently we are not in OCC.
Okay.
Do you want all the process in the before migrating the servers, or once we migrate the infrastructure, we can include one by one? How we can proceed?
Okay, but if this is English.com, right, or GSE services, we need to understand if the NFR is, for example, it has to be supported 24/7, right? If it has to be supported 24/7, then what kind of resources do we have to support it 24/7? Yeah.
Yeah.
So apologies, I'm flooding you with all of that, but unfortunately, this is all. Not the migration is not only around basically getting from place A to place B, but basically the whole journey and what happens after that journey. So how you support that journey and how you maintain that software. That's why I said I don't see all of those things in place, right? So we're lacking monitoring, we're lacking, or at least I don't know about it. We're lacking monitoring, we're lacking support processes, we're lacking NFRs. I don't know if we need 24/7. I don't know the capacity. So these are all of the things that I would need to know and understand to see where we are and if all of the resources we have fit into that plan.
Okay. Okay.
Can we get that also?
Yeah. First, I will ask Sujit to prepare the policies. Who need access for which services or which servers, those kind of stuffs. Along with that, the deployment frequency, other items. He will prepare that list, and we will move forward next.
Okay. Can you also provide me the NFRs, so non-functional requirements, so amount of people, locations, so basically is it global or location based? How many queries, if it's a GSE API, so how many queries do we expect? What would be the requirement for 24/7? And so on and so on. What is the budget, for example, for monitoring and so on and so on? I need to understand all of that. Or maybe, you know what, let's do it differently. Let's do it differently. Kalpana, can we schedule a meeting next week only between you, me, and Raja, right? So that we don't have to have a full group of people, just the three of us, and we're gonna basically in points we're gonna discuss what we need to know, and then we're gonna try to arrange all of the data. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Raja, do you agree with this approach?
Yeah. Anders, it would be great if you put your IOR point in some Excel so that we can able to fill those all the questions.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. If for example, Kapana, you can start this document, then I'll be happy to put my input. I have a lot of queries, so
okay.
If you create a document and share it with me, let's call it a migration checklist, or we can even use one of the existing documents. You've set a plan. We can do a new tab, right, and just point out the things we need. So we'll go through from the beginning, from the pre-migration, during the migration, and after the migration. What do we need? Okay. And then we're going to start to fill out these things to get an idea of the whole project, right? Not only the migration aspect.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, and I'm being really honest with you guys, I'm not very keen on being responsible for something I don't know and I don't understand. It's been always like that, and I have multiple platforms with different sizes, right?
Okay.
For example, Mel, which has 3.2 million users on it, and its budget on AWS only is $600,000 a year. So there are different platforms I have.
Okay.
There are different platforms I have, and all of them have to be in different stages. But I have to understand what are the requirements to put them in a different place, right?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, do you have any questions, or do you want to focus on something more?
No, I think everything sounds good. Once we updated the Excel sheet, we can proceed further.
Yeah. And Kalpana, please schedule something next week. Maybe not Wednesday, because I'm out Wednesday, but Tuesday or Thursday. so that we have it in our calendars and we're like focused on it, right? I want to keep the pace. I don't want to stop it for another week.
Yeah.
Okay, Meche.
Okay, thank
Then
you.
we have a weekly catch-up.
Yeah, we can have a weekly catch-up. It's a good idea. We can have a weekly half-an-hour catch-up.
Yeah.
Okay, until November end.
Yeah, until complete the project.
Okay. Okay. So do we have anything else or?
No.
That's all for
Okay. Okay. So sorry to basically make it so complex, but it is complex.
Yeah.
It's not unfortunately that simple. I wish it was that simple, right? But it's not. It's there's a lot of things we need to have around a project to make it work and make it live.
Yes.
I'm really surprised that basically something like English.com components and GSE still isn't on OCC or still doesn't have 24/7 support or monitoring, right? I thought that would also be part of the migration.
Yeah, we already have the monitoring. We already have the new release and page duty, everything.
Okay. Okay, so we already have a few things, so it's not that bad. Okay, that's great to hear because I thought basically that we don't have a lot of those things. So
No,
we'll go.
basically, the plan will be the very high level. We include everything in the one line, taking AMA and migrating in the one line, covering all the stuff. That is the only thing.
Okay, so maybe the detailed checklist will uncover that we have a lot more, and it's going to be a lot easier. So
yes,
great, that would be really good. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you guys for the meeting, and I think we saved a few minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can all have a break or a coffee or something.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Take care of your health.
Bye.
Meche. Bye.
Bye.